So we're at Robin Hood, Stride and Cratcliffe today for a nice circuit on the boulders. Now this is a really good accessible venue. It's got quite a short walk in and it's got a lot of problems from easy through to hard, many of which have nice, safe landings, and it's a good space just to chill out, do some climbing, have a picnic. So today we're going to have a nice, easy start on some low-grade and classic boulder problems before trying a little bit harder and then seeing if we can pepper in something a little bit stronger towards the end. All right, so I reckon we'll kick off with things up at the top boulders. It's a really nice place to start. Lots of really good, easy problems to get you, actually a lot of them are a little on the slabby end of the spectrum, so nice to get your footwork in, which is always useful for gritstone. One minute. There we go. Psychological warm-up. Nice ones are. Nice bump into it. Made. Kazar, this is the Eggaret. It's the best problem in the whole of the Peak District. It gets 6 something, okay. I don't remember what, but it doesn't really matter because it either feels easy or impossible, and that's all you need to know. Good. Nice ones are. Go on.
Go on. Go on.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So scooch. So when you're going, almost scooch a little like into that. So you're like.
When you say scooch.
What does scooch mean?
Yeah, could you define?
I don't know
scooch?
whether it actually has a definition.
What's a scooch?
I think it's a word. Or is it just a word that I've made up? It's where you just get your foot and just sort of move it in. So in this case, it's you're trying to really. It's not a real word, is it? The more weight you've got going through that foot, the better it is for you.
If you don't have someone to talk you through the sequence for a boulder, then you're much less likely to understand it at all. And a lot of the time you also, unless you have someone telling you what to do, it's quite easy to become convinced that you're doing the wrong thing straight off the bat. Like I'm still semi-convinced that I'm doing the wrong thing. It's just like the foot, it's not like a foothold, it's kind of like a tiny little feature on the rock. So I think understanding the kind of nuances of that sort of stuff is something that takes a long time to learn. I'm definitely still learning. Look at it then.
Watch how it's done.
All right.
What did man for?
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank goodness I did that first time.
I'm gonna actually
The towel,
try and use my leg
vastly underrated piece of equipment. Reverse that palm. Yes, that's
Go on,
it.
Tim. definitely felt like you were using your hands there. Just brushing off the holds on Eggerette, which I didn't really get anywhere with. Like Rob was saying, it's either easy or it's impossible. I found it absolutely impossible, but I think it's definitely one I'll come back to. I think one of the nice things about climbing outdoors is that it's always going to be here waiting, so I can come back and try it another time. But yeah, no progress this time.
Right, Zara, so we just rocked up to Razor Roof, which looks to be a very different state of affairs to the Eggerette insofar as it actually, at least from the outside looking in, has some holds on it.
Yeah, it's certainly looking a little bit friendlier to someone who's less experienced outdoors. Knowing where the holds are and being able to actually see them and not having to use words like smooch and
Smedge and... So what I'd say with the circuit is just have a wander around, because there is a ton of problems at both Cratcliffe and Robin Hood Stride. They're all a short walk from each other, and some will look like the Eggerette and have big warning symbols next to them. Others, like Razor Roof, actually have holds on them. Still really physical and tough, but it's a very, very different medium, really, isn't it?
It's a whole different kind of problem. And I think that's another thing about going outdoors, is not focusing too much on the grades, because technically this is harder, I think, than Eggerette, but I would say that it looks much more like something that I might have some sort of success on.
Go on, get that heel out there. Go on.
Big effort.
Oh, yes!
Nice.
Go big, super big. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh, what's he got? Oh, it's all right. You can do it. Just perseverance. There he is, go on, brilliant, absolutely spot on. No, just other hand up.
That's it.
Move left a bit. Some good stuff, bit further back, you got it, it's good. Go on, turn it. No, go on, you got it, you got it.
That's it. Go. And again.
There's good, there's good.
Come on, mate.
That's good. Yes! Nice one, buddy. That was amazing. There was more than one moment at the top where I thought it was all gonna go.
I could see the bits you were pointing to, and I was like,
I don't think you touched a single one of them.
my brain wasn't working. I was like, what are my feet doing? I think, yeah, when I hit the top edge, I was just like, oh crap. Don't fall now, don't fall now. And I stopped actually thinking about what I was doing.
Highballing definitely isn't something to be taken lightly. It requires a bit more thought in virtually, I guess, every department, from thinking about how you're falling being one of them, because you can't just fall out of control, because you would potentially be in a pickle when you came around to landing. In terms of the landing as well, it's worth really taking care of your pads, you know, making sure there's no gaps. You know, also it's like if you've got a single layer or a double layer, obviously the more pads you've got stacked on top of one another, the more comfortable the landing can be. But equally, the more it can move around once you're falling on it, and it's worth being really careful of that. And finally, making sure that you've got two reliable spotters. Who wouldn't feel safe with those guys standing beneath you? Still got it. So this isn't where it's worth starting off, and it's definitely not a beginner activity. It's something you want to build up to progressively over time. Some people love it, other people hate it because it can be a little scary, but I guess the scariness is mitigated by experience and the other factors I was describing, like, you know, climbing with friends that you mostly trust, and getting a good setup at the base that means that, you know, if you fall, you're going to land on a pad. You're going to move around those pads.
It's tricky, isn't it? It's getting, like, that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes there can be like really nice problems, but just like sorting your landing out is like a faff.
Nature's inconveniently landscaped.
Yeah.
The
Why
landscape.
do they put that boulder there?
Timbo's got you. Back a bit more. Back. Yes, that's it.
But you've been climbing on grit for years, and everyone goes on about how special the grit is. Why is it special?
It all comes down to the texture, I think, and the fact that it's a friction-based rock type. So it requires quite a lot of nuance, trust, and that doesn't come overnight. So some people, possibly myself included, you know, when they first went to the grit, had a really hard time because it's not like one of those rock types that you can just edge down on. If you pull harder, it's not going to necessarily get you up that problem. So it requires a bit of a period of adaptation and maybe a slight ass kicking before you get it. But once you get it, you love it. Another classic.